positive note, I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday.
Ditto.
I got to practice the skill I'm most proud of, having developed over quarantine. The use of my smoker.
Oh, awesome.
So I can make sure that we all get a good dose of the meat sweats when we get back to in-person gaming.
We'll have tea in 3 minutes.
Why, hello, and welcome to session 20, I believe it's 20, of Murmurs at the Abyss in Call of Cthulhu 7th edition. I am your keeper, Stu, and we have players. All of them.
Yay!
A victory is had.
We all managed to show up.
Yay!
Best.
Well, we did seem cursed there for a while.
Yes. It was a cursed game. Who would like to introduce themselves? No way.
I will real quick, and that way I can go finish making my tea real quick. Hi, I am Pooja, and I am playing Librarian Camilla Greenwald. Currently sane, I think. Yeah, currently sane. We'll see how long that lasts.
Next, Jim.
I'm Jim, and I'll be playing Isidore, who is actually also currently somewhat sane, although very angry and disappointed at the turns of events, but scared but sane.
Excellent. Tyler.
Tyler, I'm currently playing bootlegger Melvin Tinker, hired as a driver for the party. I guess I'm currently saying we'll just go along with whatever.
And Dave.
Hi, I'm Kadave. I'll be playing Dmitry Andreevich Tupolev of the soon-to-someday be famous aeronautical family.
I was just about to say, there are planes called Tupolevs, aren't there?
Yes, indeed.
The
A descendant of my character
Oh, excellent.
is going to be in aerospace engineering. Or at least a descendant of somebody in my family, because I don't, at the rate I'm going, I don't think I'm going to make it to settling down in my Russian white picket fence house with my whole family, but we'll see. I am still sane, however less sane than before, because in our last game session, I recall that I did very well on every roll that had nothing to do with maintaining sanity, and very poorly in all of the rolls about keeping up sanity. I went from, I lost 6 points of sanity last game, so
Eep.
It's not a perfect world. However, I am very excited to find out what hidden mystery object I found.
You see that? Yeah, I really should have taken notes. I have some ideas. I knew I had to come up with something, but I couldn't remember all of what it was I had to come up with. Does anyone remember what happened the last time we played, which I believe was 60
2 months ago?
It would probably close to 2 months ago. Does anyone remember? I know you guys are on a train.
We are on a train heading for San Francisco.
Right.
Have we had a session on the train, or was the last session ended as we got on the train?
We saw Edward on the train, or we thought we did. And I remember you planted moonshine on the bad people in their luggage.
Right.
Yes, I pulled the perilous, like, crawling along the outside of the train repeatedly.
Because you're so sneaky.
And that part was fine. I had that under control. So that was good. But then when I was planting the moonshine, that's when I discovered a book and some other mysterious object that I was going to be told about later. That you rolled really well about.
Yeah.
Like, so you said you wanted some time to think about it.
Right. And I have no clue, because I think I had an idea, but I didn't really know, and yeah, I'll get to that.
Right, and we wrapped that game so Stu could figure out what was in the book.
And I spent the last 2 months not doing that.
See, I appreciate the honesty, because you could very well have just gone, oh yeah, here's what you found in that book. I was prepared.
I worked super hard on this.
Kitty.
And then he Kaiser Soze's it, looking around the room.
You find a bazooki.
And some dice.
It seems to be strung backwards.
You find a
Cursed
very
dice.
large skull.
Kazuki and a D&D dreidel.
A 20-sided dreidel.
One side says critical, it's a mitzvah.
Okay, and according to my calculations, it's either July 27th or July 28th of 1923.
That's the part where I would rely on someone else to remember the exact date.
And normally I would have that information at hand. But this is why you shouldn't clean your rooms, kids.
Every time I do, I can't find crap.
And that is exactly where I'm at right now. I am sure I put it somewhere safe.
Okay, so from what I recall, I think we ended it with there was an attack, right?
There was a scream, and yes, someone is dead.
Someone is dead, and someone said something like, "Did you see that dog or bear or something? Some sort of quadrupedal thing that someone got a very brief glimpse of." And I think that was where we left it.
I mean, we could assume it's a yogurt dog, but since they're not completely batshit insane, it could not be a yogurt dog.
And you guys were all in a. You guys had. You had like a sleeper cabin. I don't remember. Or you had a couple sleeper cabins. I don't remember how it.
Yeah, we ended up with like one full.
Thought we had two.
Oops.
Okay. All right. So you had there's a huge loud commotion, and you hear someone say something about a dog attack or something out in the hallway. Also, coincidentally, the train seems to be slowing down.
Is it a coincidence? Does murder not usually stop trains?
I don't know if murder stops trains.
That's terrifying.
Well, Murder on the Orient Express, it stopped briefly and then kept on going.
I think it's more of a situation where it'll stop at the next station.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah, that
assumption
makes
is
more
that-
sense than like trapping everyone in the middle of nowhere with a murderer. Or in the case of Orient Express, like trapping one person with a shit ton of murderers.
Spoilers?
Oh, too soon?
I ain't even bad about it. I'm not even a little bit sorry.
All right. So
Watch out for those hardcore Agatha Christie stories.
You're noticing that there's like a sort of a cityscape now that you're coming into, so the train is probably slowing because you're probably approaching Chicago. Is anyone going to investigate, or are you just going to sit in the cabin like good train passengers?
So, was the person who died one of the people that we were investigating before?
Not that you know of, because that the people that I think you were investigating you can't really get to because they were in the
Yeah, they had like
back,
first class tickets or some
right.
shit.
They were in one of the back cars, which was like the first class cars, and this attack happened in your car, but up near the front in like one of the little front sleeper cabins. Like the one right adjacent to the front, the frontmost one on the opposite side of you is the way I'm picturing it.
I'm not particularly enthusiastic about finding more Hounds of Tindalos.
I'm going to go to the bar car and see if the bartender knows any details about what's going on. They seem to be usually around where rumor mills are.
Okay.
My brain immediately supplied where people, die.
Okay. So you head up to the front car, or not the front car, the bar car. Which do we determine that the bar car is forward or back?
I don't think we established a layout.
Order. Yeah.
We'll say it's forward. So they have the door closed, and there's they wouldn't call them a bellman. Porter, sort of standing next to the door of the cabin where the attack happened, and then the next car up is where the bar is.
Well, as I'm walking by the porter, I go, "Is there anything we should be concerned about?"
I don't think so, sir. Someone said they believe they saw like a dog or a wolf or maybe a coyote. I'm not sure, but we've searched the train from one end to the other and we haven't found anything, and we're not really exactly sure what's happened. I've just been told to stay here. We'll be coming into Chicago shortly, so the authorities will come aboard at that point, I'm sure.
I pull out one of my cards from the university and I go, "Well, I do have some training in etymology and in zoology. I might be able to find, if it's described to me, what kind of animal it was and its name."
Oh, well,
you have a description?
It was the conductor. He's in the next car forward.
Oh, all right. Then I won't take any more of your time. Thank you.
His name is Patrick.
Oh, good to know. So I go into that car, and I look for the conductor, Patrick.
You see a conductor. His hat is off, and it's sitting next to him on the bar. And there's a bottle and a small glass. And his hand is shaking.
I sit down next to him. I pull out one of my cards, and I slide it over to him. "Patrick?"
A doctor.
I was wondering if maybe I could be of service. If you could provide me a description of what you saw, I might be able to shed some light onto what kind of beast it is.
Well, it looked like a bit like a dog. It was dark, but it stank. It smelled terrible. Very large too. I bet if its head were to lift up, it would be nearly as high as me, looking me straight in the eye.
That is a huge hound.
More of a bear, I would wonder, but it was too thin to be a bear.
Well, mastiffs, when standing, could reach around 6 feet for the larger members of the species. And of course, there have been some timber wolves measured at even further.
Could
But
be.
what a creature like that would be doing on a locomotive, I have no idea.
And how it got on and how it got off, because it ain't here anymore. It was drenched. Absolutely drenched. Must have been the blood of the poor woman that died.
Who did die? If you don't mind me asking, I don't want to be intrusive.
Oh, it was an elderly lady named Maisie Phillips. On her way to Chicago to To see your new grandson.
I touch my Star of David and I say a small prayer.
Okay.
That is.
He crosses himself, finishes his drink, and reloads.
Well, hopefully once we reach the city, someone will be able to shed some light on this. It is truly an unfortunate thing to happen on such a routine journey.
I don't understand how it got on board. It's not like a dog can open and close train car doors. Someone must have let it in.
And I wrote, strange things happen on trains all the time. And you'd never know what people try to slyly smuggle in to trains like this simply by trying to avoid rules or, even more importantly, payment.
It could be someone smuggled into the baggage cars. That is possible, but it
Wanting
still
to
has
bring
to
their
make it.
hunting pet or something that maybe was unbeknownst to them rabid.
That could be.
But like I said, a lot of interesting things can be found when you look at what people are trying to smuggle in here. I'd check out that card if I were you. Have a good day. On the reverse side of the card is the information toward where to find certain bootlegged liquor materials.
Okay.
Oh, you're really getting into the spy business. I like it.
Oh, I know I've got a character sheet here somewhere. I'm sure I do. I printed one out. Oh, there we go. I just want to see. I'm going to have you make a, if you want.
Sure.
What would be the dropping a dime skill? Maybe fast talk or persuade? I would say either one of those.
Okay. All right. So which one would you rather have, fast talk or persuade?
Whichever one is higher.
That would be persuade.
We should all note that at this moment Stu is being kind, and that never bodes well for us.
I know, right? Well,
Usually ends up.
that's a
Doubles it.
10%. I got a 15, so I am going to spend 5 luck points and make that go.
Oh, okay, all right. So you do that, and he says that's a good idea. I think I'll head up there now.
Oh, that's a good man.
He finishes the drink he just poured, and he starts stumbling his way forward.
I feel like we're just as likely to end up with just a supremely drunk conductor as we are the people that we're worried about actually getting arrested for smuggling.
Well, I'm going to go back to the group, see if I can find everybody,
Okay.
and tell them the conductor saw what I believe was one of those hounds that have been plaguing us. His temperament indicates that he has been shooken gravely, and his description matches almost identically. It killed a woman, an elderly woman, up at the beginning of our car.
But why go after some random woman? I mean, in the past, the hounds always appeared to us. Or, I suppose, in the case of Einstein, to people who have been to the Dreamlands.
Well, she may have been another dreamer. We don't know. Or it could have been that she stumbled onto the hound before it actually reached its intended mark.
Isadora, I do not want to encounter this beast again?
I don't think any one of us does, but it's better to know that one has been here than not. Well, let's just say that we should probably be very careful about our sleep, just in case.
Agreed. And definitely no more trips to the Dreamland, as much as we could help it.
Unless there's something world-shakingly beneficial of going in there, I doubt that I would make the attempt myself. I managed to... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just... Do you think possibly Edward brought it here?
If he is indeed somehow involved, I'm certain that it is a possibility. It's just I find it very difficult for me to see possibly one of my dearest friends villainized in that way. It's quite heartbreaking, to be honest.
I feel the same as you. I mean, we wouldn't have survived before had it not been for his actions.
It is yet another way that I feel vulnerable. And throughout this entire situation, that's all that I've felt. The only thing is that we can do something about the people that are doing things. We have very little way of affecting the supernatural, I suppose. So let's just put this behind us and concentrate on the mission at hand. I have managed to subtly alert the authorities that certain things may have been smuggled into the luggage, and that maybe this might have been a smuggled animal that came in with it. So they are focusing their attention onto the luggage compartment.
Very smart.
Hopefully that would call at least the detention or questioning of those that we wish to interrupt. At that point, maybe we could do a little more.
I mean, I hate to put it this way, but in a sense, this situation works in our favor because delaying their arrival in San Francisco can only delay Abigail's plans.
It's just amazing to me that this woman has the affection and loyalty of so many. I don't understand why people would commit themselves to something so destructive, so...
We've seen how persuasive she could be. And I seriously doubt people understand the full extent of what they're doing. Until it's too late.
That and many of these things have caused severe psychological trauma, put off base, and being completely disoriented as to where up is up and down is down, right is right and wrong is wrong. It could totally be subverted. I think she takes advantage of the fact that these things are mind-boggling and uses that effect.
Agreed. Well.
But if we do find the good doctor, I would like the chance to try to reverse this. Maybe talk some sense into him. We owe him that much at the very least.
Agreed.
Okay. So the train pulls into the station. I don't even know what the station would be in.
Dude, you are usually the most prepared GM ever.
I got prep done. I did get the prep done. It's just I didn't get Union Station. Okay. There's a lot of Union Stations.
Union Station is about the best possible guess
Right.
of what it is, no matter where you go.
Okay. So it pulls into the Chicago station, and the porters sort of walking down the hall, announce that they're asking that no one disembark yet, but they will, for those, if this is the final destination for anyone, we'll try to get you off the train as quickly as possible, blah, 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 that sort of thing. And then as the train pulls up, you see there's like 3 or 4 guys in suits and bowlers on the platform. And
Oh, the wonders of the telegram.
and they come on board. And they said that those in the car where the incident happened, and the adjoining cars, ask that you submit to questions. There's some agents on board who are looking into it for the railroad. So, and you see, I don't know, if you open the door and look, you can see that there's a guy who's basically making his way. One of them goes in and is looking at where the crime scene is, quote unquote, and another one of them starts knocking on doors, going inside, and seems to be having conversations with people.
It seems to be for the best that if we pretend not to know each other. Once again, the reason why we bought our tickets separately to board this train, we never know what Hoover might have told people to be on the lookout for.
Right. What I find is very important in these kinds of situations is to have a story and stick to it. Whenever you vary your tale from telling to telling, that raises the suspicion of investigators. So plant firmly in your mind what your set of events are, and commit them to memory, and make sure that you stay upon that line. One slip up may cause us to be drug in for further questioning.
That's a low helicopter. You guys hear that?
I come from a place where people of my kind are constantly questioned by police for everything just because of who we are. I've dealt with them before.
I believe I could reply in Russian.
Ah, brilliant.
Okay, so after, I don't know, probably half hour or so, there's a knock at your car or room door.
I'll go ahead and open it.
And it's guy's about not quite 6 feet tall, big thick mustache, looks like he's probably in his late 20s. He has the bowler off. He's holding it in front of him. He's wearing like a gray suit, and it's not a uniform. It's not like a Chicago police or anything like that.
So he looks kind of like a Pinkerton or something like that.
He looks exactly like a Pinkerton. And he says, "I'm Agent Franz Hersberg.
You okay? Are you okay?
May I ask you a few questions?"
Of course, detective. Please, I am Isidore Holzman, professor of antiquities.
Oh.
Whatever help I can offer, I am at your disposal.
Pleasure to meet you. Did any of you see the attack or hear anything around the time of the attack?
We heard a scream.
See, I did not. All of everything I know is secondhand or sounds, and that's all I know.
About what time would you say the scream was?
I give him an accurate
Okay.
time of it.
And did anyone hear anything prior to that sounded at all unfamiliar? Any detail whatsoever?
I wish I could be of more help. But there was a scream. There was some noise of violence. Some thuds, some sounds like that, and then nothing. when I heard the scream, I actually tipped my head out to see if I could see anything, but I saw nothing in the hallway. Um, uh, I I just didn't know what to do at that point.
What was that?
Honestly, I was too afraid to even poke my head out of the door. You never know what kind of types come into the train cars and assault the passengers.
That is very understandable. Did you hear anything after the scream? Did you hear any growls or barkings or any sorts of animal sounds, anything moving around?
I'm going to be honest with you and tell you that I heard nothing like that. But I did talk to some of the train staff, and they did tell me that they believed that it was some sort of animal that caused the attack. But having heard that after the fact, I don't want to taint any of my telling of the tale with conjecture. I heard nothing that was like a beast.
I mean, we came from New York City. How did a wild animal get on the train in the first place?
That is one of the things we are trying to find out. It's possible it could have been smuggled on board. Someone could have perhaps maybe left a car open and they jumped up onto the train. We don't know yet. And we don't know where it went. It didn't even leave tracks.
That's not reassuring in the slightest. I have to say, and you're keeping us all on board where a wild animal could attack us at any moment.
Well,
and you don't know where it is.
I can assure you it's not on the train. The staff has searched the train thoroughly and has not found it. So whatever it is, it must have gotten back off. The point now is to figure out how it's got on. Did either of you who have not yet said anything to me very suspiciously have anything you would like to add? Or did either of you see or hear anything during or before or immediately after the scream?
Tovarish Polruski?
As I was going to say, I have not heard this gentleman speak anything intelligible in our language.
And then I'll just rattle on about, like, this is very unusual, and I have an appointment in San Francisco.
What's your luck?
$53.
No.
The house always wins.
Okay, no, he doesn't speak a word of Russian. German guy, a couple years after World War One.
You could.
There's a possibility he might know Russian, but no, he fought on the wrong front. What about you, sir?
I didn't see anything or hear anything. I've been in here asleep.
Oh, so the scream did not wake you up?
It was no.
Very well. I'm gonna here's he hands you his card. He gives one to each of them. He says, "If there's anything else, you can contact me through the train station. If there's
Excuse
anything
me.
more you would like to add."
Detective, I would like some kind of reassurance that there would be an increased level of security on the train as it continues to travel, just on the
Are
outside
you getting
chance.
us another train? Are we going to go onto another train to go through to San Francisco?
Well, they're going to disconnect this car from the rest of the train, but the rest of the train is going, and they will hook up another passenger car for you. If you are, this is not your final destination.
Unfortunately, no, because I would like nothing better than to just be away from this whole mess. It's terrifying.
Of course, yes, I completely understand. If you would like, now that I've spoken with you, you are free to disembark. If you would like to stretch your legs, get some air. The train won't be leaving for probably till a bit after dawn. It's like probably 4 a.m. right now.
Okay. I mean, is it safe? Is it safe to go out? If the animal's not on the train, it's not at the station, is it?
No, we have not seen anything at the station. We were out there waiting when the train pulled up, and we saw nothing disembark.
Okay. And there are plenty of your men around in case of other unsavory characters?
Yes, and we will...
I mean, not to disparage the city of Chicago, but one hears rumors.
Well, of course, there are the big cities. They have their reputations, you know. But we do not work for the city. We work for the Pinkerton agency for the railway.
Oh, I've heard of you. You have a very good reputation. Unlike the city of Chicago.
They do until about 1937. Then their reputation takes a big crap.
Can't imagine why.
Right. Yes, and also, if it would ease your mind, at least 2 of us will also escort the train to make sure that to ensure the safety of the passengers of the Santa Fe line.
That does set me at ease. Thank you.
Of course, but you are free to come and go. Please, if you exit forward of the train. We are trying to keep track of who we've talked to and who we have not yet.
Okay.
I thank you for your time. And then he leaves and goes on, knocks on the next door.
I'm getting the hell off this train car.
Yeah, same here.
Okay.
Gonna stay to well-lit areas without any weird dog-shaped shadows in the corners.
Okay.
Or
Particularly
hot
attracted
shadows.
to restaurants that have no dogs allowed.
I don't think these things can read.
No shirt, no shoes, no elder gods.
Okay. So there's like a little, probably like a little cafeteria or like a little diner that's attached to the train station.
Yeah, I get
And
myself
it's
a cup
open
of coffee.
24 hours. Okay.
Maybe some... it's Chicago. Danish.
Okay.
You aren't going to have any blintzes. That's for damn sure.
Okay. Are you all getting off or any of these
Do they have
Yeah.
pierogies or whatever in Chicago? Is that a Chicago thing, or is that more of like just a Wisconsin, Michigan thing?
I would. No, I think they would.
well, yeah.
They would. There.
Sure they would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kielbasa.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get to be Abe Froman, the Sausage King of Chicago, if you can't have kielbasa.
Sausage King of Chicago.
Chicago. Hey, Froman.
Okay. So are you all disembarking?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And gather up all our
So
stuff
when you
to take with us.
exit the train, you discover that the front, like half of the train, is already been moved. It's not there anymore, so it's been moved up to a switch line or something. And this particular station, it's got your car, the luxury car behind it, and the caboose, and that's all that's left.
You put it that way. It's so ominous.
That's all that's
All
left.
that's left.
All that remains.
Okay.
But maybe we should take some time and investigate that book.
Yeah, I want to kind of keep an eye out and see if we see our
Our nemesis.
evil cultists come out of the back. I mean, not that I'd ever admit it. It was quite nice having Edward around. We always traveled first class.
Now, I don't recall. Did I give you guys the names of the guys who were getting on the train?
If you can't remember, dog, I've slept since then.
I don't recall a set of names. I
Oh,
just
I re-
recall this may be the beginning of another set of 9 cultists.
Okay.
Well, we definitely intercepted like a message from Abigail to them, right? So
Yeah, you got the message. I think that you got was that the guy who was in the next hotel room to you in DC was told to like, it's time to signal the rest of them to move.
yes.
And then he did his gruesome display.
And then he was waiting for them in the Dreamlands.
Right. And they, at least at that point, had never shown.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, so you basically, you kind of, by this point, you've been traveling for probably a couple days now, so you kind of got, like, basically sort of familiar with your other car mates, because you would see them coming in and out of the little thing. So you see them all leave. Then you see the people disembarking from the luxury car. Now, did you guys tag who they were? I'm trying to remember if you.
I mean, we must have
spotted
known
them.
their names or something because we rigged their luggage.
Yeah.
Somehow,
At the very least, we saw them with their luggage and could identify it.
And didn't you, when you were looking for Edward, didn't you find out their names because you were like, you got the conductor or whoever to check the passenger list?
Oh yeah, because I did have somebody show me a passenger list. Yeah, I remember that.
Because one of the things, I'm trying to remember, because one of the things that you guys were talking about doing was contacting the authorities.
We did. It didn't go so well. Melvin called Hoover.
I thought Melvin's hang-up was amazing.
That's right.
Oh no!
It was amazing. It just,
That's not a question I was expecting. Click. So you had some way of, I'm trying to remember how you identified them, because you had some way of identifying them, and I can't remember how.
we like followed them from being suspicious at the parade grounds or something.
We might have gotten a name since I found their luggage.
I mean, we definitely got the name while we were on the train, at least.
I remember looking up passenger manifests. That's
I
sure.
I remember you doing that. Okay.
But in terms of like how we originally identified them, that is lost to the sands of time.
Oh no, the taxi cab service.
That's right. That's right. You went to a taxi cab in DC, the service in DC. And
We talked to the cab driver. He gave us descriptions. I then did the descriptions in the passenger manifest, and that's when we matched it out.
And then we because we had to follow them back from DC to New York.
Clueless professor detective work for the win.
Seriously.
BRB.
It's like, how far can research take you? Apparently quite far.
Okay, well, so we'll say there were 4 of them?
There were 4 of them, yes.
That's what I thought. Okay. So you've pieced together the descriptions with the names from the manifest, and you see the 4 of them. You see the 4 of them exit the train, and rather than going to the station, they walk out onto the platform and make a right-hand turn and start heading toward where the exit of the train station is.
Now that is concerning.
I will follow them.
Okay.
Keep eyes on them.
You shouldn't go alone.
I'll go with them.
Okay.
Enjoy your pierogies.
I don't know if 4 a.m. is really the appropriate time for pierogies, and I also don't care.
Listen, they're delicious.
4 a.m. is not an appropriate time for it. There's no appropriate time for it.
you guys might want to make like I guess stealth would probably be the closest.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem for you, maybe.
I succeeded.
I got an 88 to my 55 stealth.
Oh no!
Oh,
Okay, so you guys are following, and you're not like I'm assuming you're not together, like walking, like
No.
okay. So
As soon as I fail my stealth, I'm sure that's when Dave and I split up.
okay,
Also, we don't want to make the Pinkertons suspicious. We're not supposed to know each other. And Dimitri's not supposed to speak English.
so that you're pretty sure you got made, Melvin. You're pretty sure you got made. I don't know if you want to just like keep walking like you're going somewhere else or however you want to handle it. But they seem to be headed to telegraph office. And you can tell they're acting real suspicious because one goes inside and the other three stand outside and basically are like looking around on the street. That's when you get spotted.
I'll go into the telegraph office behind the other guy.
Okay, all right.
Well, excuse me.
like I wasn't trying to be stealthy at all. I was going right here.
You ever do that where someone do you think they're following you, but they're just going to the same place you are? That's what happened here, guys. Sorry.
Or like you're driving along and you
get
start
by
freaking
here.
out because the car behind you keeps making all the same turns, and then it turns out to be your neighbor.
That happened to me on Thursday when I was driving home. There was a car, and the guy must have thought I was a stalker or something. There was a guy in front of me who got on the freeway at just like a quarter mile from my shop, and he ended up turning on my street when I got home. I don't know. So there's someone else in this neighborhood who works in Santa Fe Springs, which is crazy because that's a terrible commute.
You guys should carpool.
If I could find out who it was, I would.
There you go.
Because we well, I don't know what time they get to work, but they left at the same time. So.
Internet to your thing.
So the guy goes in and says, "Yeah, I'm checking to see if I have a telegram. My name's Barney Ryan." He's standing in front of you. And the guy goes over to like a little like file box and says, "Ah, yes, here we are. There you are, sir." And he gives him a telegram, and he walks out the door with it.
I will. I'll go up to the counter. I'll ask how much it costs to send a telegram to New Jersey.
It's
However much they tell me. I forgot my wallet in my luggage. I'm gonna go see if I can get that, and I'll be right back.
very good, sir. Now, what are you doing, Dimitri, while he's inside? Are you just like kind of like watching them?
Yeah, I'd find like a spot next to a dumpster or something where I could keep an eye on the building and
Okay.
make sure he's not being hauled away at sacrificial knife point or something.
All right. So you see the fourth guy who went inside the thing come out, and the four of them start walking farther down, like farther away from the train station.
Okay.
And then I don't know, probably a minute later, a minute and a half later, you see Dimitri come out.
Melvin.
No, Melvin. Sorry.
Okay. No. Well, I think I'll keep up following them.
Okay.
I mean, as long as that stealth roll holds out, I'll keep going.
Yeah, sure. And at this point, Melvin, you see where they're going. I mean, you weren't in there long enough for them to get out of view.
Right.
Do you want to keep following them?
No, because they'll catch me, and I'll have to make a new character.
Okay. So you're heading back to the station.
I'll head back to the station.
Okay. All right. All right. So they walk probably like maybe a quarter mile, a couple blocks, and there's a little bakery shop, and it's obviously open because it's at this point probably 5 a.m. And they walk inside, and you see him sit down at a table, and someone comes up and takes an order from them, and they go and give them stuff, and then they eat it, and then you see 4 other people walk in, and as they walk in, I don't know where are you? Are you going inside the bakery, or are you going to kind of stay outside someplace, or?
I'd probably, like, as long as there's some windows that I can sort of see inside, I'd try and stay out.
Okay, yeah, that's possible.
Like, stick to the shadows, or, you know.
Give me like a spot hidden.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
My 96 says I spot nothing.
What is your spot hidden?
30.
It's below 50. That might actually be a critical failure. Let me check real quick. Because it's very exciting when you get critical failures. If your skill level is below 50%, 96 to 100 is a fumble.
Ah!
All right, so you see like 4 other people walk in, and then like seconds after that, you see the 4 you're following walk out, and they continue walking away from the train station.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll keep. I don't want to get too far from the train station and everybody else.
Right. At this point, you're probably half a mile away from it.
Oh yeah. I'm not going to follow them.
Okay. All right.
I'll double back to the train because I also don't want to miss our opportunity to get back on our new car and go.
Right. Got it. Okay. All right. So by the time you get back to the train station, it looks like the train has been reassembled on this track because it's got like an engine now and it's got all of its cars.
Okay.
And they probably told you to take your belongings that you have on in your car with you, and then whatever luggage that you left, just don't worry about that because that'll still be with the train.
Sure. I probably have like a small, satchel kind of bag.
A carry-on.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you get
A
back.
weekender, if you will.
And one of the porters comes in and announces, anyone for the Chicago San Francisco Express will be leaving in about 10 minutes. And he turns around and walks out of the little diner.
So
Right.
is Dimitri's back at this point, right? You're
Yes,
back.
Yes, they're both back.
And I'll let you guys know what I saw. They sent a telegram and then went to a bakery and stayed only a minute or two and left. Walked farther into the city.
They picked one up. They received the telegram.
Oh.
And then no one else came to meet them or anything?
There were 4 other people that went into the bakery, but I did not see them doing anything.
Oh. Strange. I mean, those 4 people aren't here now, are they?
Make a no roll, which was your education there, Dimitri.
Hey, I made that. By a lot. I rolled a 15.
You're surprised.
I am. I'm not. I only had a 50.
You look out the window of the diner, and there are the 4 people who walked into the bakery after the people you were following.
They are right outside. I never would have thought they would have exchanged peoples.
Do we continue on to San Francisco, or do we attempt to follow the people who we followed in the first place? I mean, they obviously expected something if they had a telegram waiting for them already. Isidore, what do you think? I'm rather at a loss as to understanding the mentality of all this.
This could be some sort of contingency plan. But if we were to take for granted certain assumptions, so if we were to assume that the Hound was summoned by the activity of these people for a purpose, one would think that they're still central to the plot, since that would have taken some planning, I assume, or a reason.
But then why would they switch places with these other people, who we could also assume are part of this situation?
It all depends. Do you think that the final destination is more important than the individuals?
Well, Abigail has shown and shown again that the individual is not the priority in her plans. She marches forward no matter what particular nail has been removed from the coffin lid.
It could very well be that she is just attempting to stop any interference by changing the identities of those who are executing her plan.
True.
I think we're probably better off keeping an eye on them and traveling on the train. It could
All right.
very well be that those other people were intended to lure us away.
I wish we knew what was in that telegram. Well, if wishes were horses.
If we had more time, maybe we could figure out a way to get that from the telegraph office. But since the train is leaving in 10 minutes, I don't think that's possible.
Agreed. It's not worth missing the train for.
The
So, back on we go, I guess.
so you go up to get back on the train, and same Pinkerton, Officer Hertzberg says, "Wait a moment. They found some contraband in the luggage compartment, so they're not going to be loading the train quite yet. I do apologize. Perhaps another hour, half hour or so."
Is it another animal? Did someone bring another animal onto the...
No, this is more of the. There's they found some illegal substances, and apparently someone was trying to get some moonshine and take it. Quite.
I'm appalled. I thought you ran a moral institution here.
Well, we do, but this train came from New York.
Excuse me?
It's a big city. There's far more criminal elements than you would find in a city like Chicago.
I take for granted, sir, that you, much like I, am from the continent.
Yeah.
And I am certain that personages of our upbringing know better than to flat out insult a woman as to her point of origin.
Oh, of course.
We're
I did not.
all
mean
from
such
New
at all.
York, sir, and I myself am a rabbi, and casting aspersions is not a very professional means of doing things.
Well, you have my sincerest apologies. I did not mean to insult anyone.
Very well.
Apology accepted. Thank you very much. As long as you're just very, very sure that no one else has smuggled anything on the train before we get back on it.
That's why they are doing a complete search of the train right now. I do apologize for the delay.
Definitely better safe than mauled by wild animals or insane drunkards.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so I start peeling away back towards the station.
Okay.
Is America not a continent?
Actually, North America is a continent. There's a separation between North, South, and Central America.
All right, sure, but you said you're from the continent.
It is a common colloquial
There are 7.
when I come from Europe.
Oh, weird.
Forgive me for the misunderstanding. Although technically we all are originally.
Okay.
Except for one obvious exception. Forgive me. But in any case, we have some extra time. Perhaps the telegraph office?
Yes, if someone could persuade.
Perhaps Melvin and I could intimidate, but not persuade.
Maybe one of us could ask an appropriate question to find out where they file old telegraphs in their system.
You know what? I could actually persuade. I'm sure that I could be persuasive and charming enough to get something out of this. Telegraph officers.
Okay.
We have the names of the people involved as well, so that might be helpful.
Right. Okay. So you go back to the telegraph office. You're at the telegraph
I can't imagine they've had a huge wave of people come through
at 5 o'clock in the morning.
4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Okay.
I say we let Camilla go in on her own on this one. Melvin, you've already been seen in there.
Yeah.
Oh, sir, by any means, could you help me? I've been looking for a man by the name of, what did you say his name was? Bernard Melton?
Barney Ryan.
Barney Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got those first letters correct. I feel like that's a win.
You did. Yes, I believe he was in here not 10 or 15 minutes ago, picking up a telegram. He left, and I believe he headed to the left.
Well, it pains me greatly to expose my personal business to a stranger in this way, but you seem so helpful and so kind. And that man has promised me things of a marriage nature. But he has been incredibly secretive and just... You know when you get a feeling about a person and you really want to be able to trust them, but you have to have proof before they just absolutely ruin you and your reputation and your heart?
He seems a bit flustered.
And I just must know if my Barney is already someone else's Barney, if you know what I mean.
Oh, I'm afraid I can't.
And what kind of man sneaks around at the wee hours of the morning to get important telegrams and then won't tell you what they're about if it's not another woman? So for the sake of my heart and my reputation, could you please help me? I just must know what that telegram said.
Well, I'm afraid that's against our company policy.
Was it from Abigail?
the look on his face, very clearly you have guessed something, and he's trying his best to hide it.
Sir, please, I just must know what that trollop has been selling my party on.
Well, you'll understand. I don't think they don't keep copies.
It could stay just between us.
They don't keep copies of that stuff, do they? They just like print them out and then. So it would be his memory, I'm guessing, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
I mean, I'm assuming, like, because why would they, unless they had like a carbon copy or something.
Yeah, I don't know if they were doing. I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to be. He would have been the one who would have taken it anyway. Mm-hmm. So go ahead and make your persuade roll and add that tens die.
Nice.
Since it's something having to do with propriety and such, and a woman's honor.
I got a 26.
Oh, boom.
Under my 65.
Okay. All right. He says,
a lady's reputation must be maintained.
Exactly. It said something about, yes, her name was, well, I don't, it was from an A. Athenbright, which I suppose could be an Abigail. And it said something about people from, she used the term troublemakers, and a school called Ravenhurst University.
I've never heard of that place.
And it
Did
says,
she say to meet her there?
No. It said that he was to that they would be on a train headed to San Francisco. These people from Ravenhurst, and the 5:15, which I believe should be leaving shortly, but. And it said something about they will disrupt something. And they said the only thing that really stuck out was that the last sentence was, discretion is no longer a concern.
That cad. How dare he?
And I wrote the message not even realizing that he would use that ploy to find out what it said.
Well, thank you so much for your help. You said he went to the left.
Yes. I believe he went. The only place to open at this hour would be the baker.
Well, then. There shall be a reckoning for this horrible man. I'll tell you what, when my father hears of this. Thank you. Thank you so much for your help.
You're very welcome. I wish I could have given you better news, ma'am.
They always say in the Bible says, don't shoot the messenger. And then I'll leave.
I believe it might say that. Okay. And you head back out. All right.
Well, Abigail knew we were on the train and warned the four that we followed about it and said that discretion is no longer necessary.
Then perhaps
She said that we would disrupt something.
Do you think these people are here to kill us? Or kill?
I think that perhaps the switch of personnel is to bring in people that are assigned to deal with us directly while the other ones are free to continue on with whatever plan they have.
Agreed. I do not think it would be for the best for us to go back on the train. Where did you say that the four went? Which way did you see them go, Dimitri?
Farther into the city?
Ugh.
Away from the train?
Well, nothing's open. I mean... Do you think we could catch their trail or something?
We could.
It's not like they're from here either.
We got to get our stuff off the train if that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, we have a whole... Hang on. Did we ship your car?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you
Oh
did.
yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think you have an automobile in one of the cargo cars.
At least it's an automobile without a bunch of moonshine in the back now.
Yeah. At least they didn't find the moonshine in our stuff, so that's good.
I wonder if it would raise suspicions with the Pinkertons.
If we
Well-
asked to just get off the train.
Well, no, I mean, how many of us have, like, actual bags in the baggage cart? There's the car. But, like, it's not like we were taking trunks and stuff.
Yeah, we've been traveling light in
Yeah,
general. Just
pretty
because
much
we're
just the
traveling
car.
And probably whatever luggage you brought is probably in the car, I would imagine.
Yeah. So if Melvin goes to get his car, then it's
Yeah,
not
'cause there's
suspicious.
no
It's
moon.
just one person.
Yeah, because it would just be you removing the car going, you know what? Screw this. This is too scary. I'm just going to drive the rest of the way.
From Chicago, it's Route 66 all the way.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go do that.
Okay.
Get the car. If they ask why, I'll say because I don't want to get killed by a freaking wild animal on the train.
Right. And you get there, and you are not the first person who's come up there and like demanded their luggage and saying they're not gonna get back on the train. Even with all that switching of the cars and everything, there's several people who are like cutting their trip short or going to wait for the next train or something.
I need my luggage. What's it look like? A car?
That one's easy to point out, at least.
I wonder what the
The big
mechanics
black one?
They'd probably been on a big flatbed car, huh? I would
Or
imagine.
like a box car. But yeah.
Yeah, I think they're driving into a box car though. I would imagine they'd probably pick it up like with some like a hoist or something and put it on like a flat car. I would imagine.
I see more of a ramp driving the car into a flat.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like if you have a side opening and then you have a ramp that goes up to it, you just maneuver the car in and then turn it.
yeah, I suppose you could do that. Okay, all right. So they dick around with it for a while until they can get it out. They probably have to move the train because there's probably no way off of the platform. So they have to move away. Like it's a big deal. Let's say it's going to take like an hour or so. But
Well, they should have thought of that before they just decided to keep going with this trip with a murderous animal.
So they basically move the train out a little ways, put a ramp up, and then bring it out onto like a little dirt road or something for you. And then you have your car.
I'll be super polite to everybody, like all the porters who actually have to do the work.
Okay.
But anybody there that's management, fuck them.
Okay. So you got your car.
Okay.
In the hour that he's gone, like getting his car, I would like to see, like, if we can go a little ways, like to the bakery or whatever, and see if there's any sign of like where they might have gone.
Okay.
Yeah,
Or
I'll
crazy cultists.
walk you back that way, no problem.
Okay. So you go inside the bakery. There's like, I don't know, maybe like 3 tables in the place.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like no one in there except for like the employees at this point. It's like there's probably a couple people, little foot traffic in and out, but it's probably like 6 a.m. So they have their like the little delivery truck pulled up, and they're probably loading fresh bread for various restaurants and wealthy households and such right now.
Great.
There's probably like
By any chance, have you seen a group of 4 people? I was supposed to meet some friends coming from the train station, and of course, silly me, I was a bit late.
Yeah, I saw. There was a group of 4 that came in, and they sat down and they ordered, and then they weren't here for but a few minutes, and then another group of 4 people walked in, and as soon as they walked in, those first 4 got up and left, and they left their stuff.
That's so strange. They didn't even eat their food.
And then the other 4 sat down right in their place and then left with it. I think something might be going on.
That sounds suspicious as all get out, if you ask me. Well,
I thought that
I wonder
too.
if my friends are playing a practical joke on me.
Well, when they left, they went that way, and he points down.
And how long ago was that? I'm sorry. I just, you said they were only here for a few minutes.
He told, I don't know how long ago, probably half hour ago.
Okay. What is down that way? Not exactly from this part of town, unfortunately.
Well, there's some hotels. There's a couple of restaurants, a couple of saloons.
Oh. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your help.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And I'll buy some donuts.
Okay.
Old fashions.
Okay. And
Because who doesn't love
He throws
an
in
old
some donut
fashioned?
holes for you.
You're too kind. I'll have to show my friends what they're missing.
You have a nice day.
You too. And I leave.
Okay.
And it sounds like there's some hotels or something. But the 4 people who came in took their place. Does that make sense?
Does.
Like the 4 sat down, the other 4 came in, our original 4 got up and left, and the new 4, they sat down and then left with their food. It was like a full role switch.
Oh, he said not like bags and stuff, like satchels,
Oh.
Luggage.
Yeah.
And left with all their luggage and everything.
That is
Highly unusual.
strange.
But yes, they took their entire place on the train.
Well, it's not like they check pictures or try to verify identity. Once you have your ticket, you have your ticket. So it'd be easy for them to swap people out.
Yes. Well, I'm just even more glad that we've decided not to get back on there.
But then to tracking down those people that remained.
Well, do you think they just went to a hotel? They'd need some place to stay.
Well, let's reconnoiter the area and see how many hotels we're talking about. See if we can narrow this down in some way.
Okay. So you go along and you get them to do like the hotel district. It's like the tourism district, like you would have near an airport. There's several hotels, just a mile or so away from the train station. The Chicago Arms. The Chicago.
Do you want to attempt the same subterfuge again at these hotels to find out?
How about we send a fake telegram from Abigail to each one of these hotels and wait for somebody to come out and get it? And that would just
That is
be
a
a
very smart idea.
question of observation. If nobody picks up the telegram, we know that they're not there. They wouldn't avoid getting a telegram from their master, mistress, whatever.
Well, yeah, let's figure out the 4 most likely looking hotels.
Yeah, and then we move on to another 4 if those don't pan out. We definitely do it in a series of telegrams that are the same number as the number of people we have available to
so
check
so
out.
you have one person staking out each hotel.
Right.
Got it.
Because we're not trying to really do anything. All we're trying to do is sort of observe. If somebody picks it up, we know that they're at that hotel, and then we can move on from there.
Right.
Do you want a space bar through that, Stu, or?
Yeah, we can do that. The so you each take a spot in 4 different hotels, and so I'm assuming you're gonna go someplace, send a telegram, and have the telegrams delivered to the hotel.
Right.
So it's going to look as official as possible.
Exactly.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And we signed it in exactly the same way Camilla saw it was signed from the other telegram.
She never
Not to
actually
name Abigail.
Oh,
No, she's-
the one in DC. Okay, got it. Okay. All right. So you see. So basically, everyone sees the same thing, which is just some kid from the telegram office comes and delivers a telegram to the front desk at the hotels. At Melvin's, though, they come up. They drop off. They probably drop off 3 or 4 telegrams at a time, and the bellman kind of goes through them and hands one back to him. Do you want to make a listen roll to hear? Are you going to try to sit close enough to be able to hear conversations, or you're just watching Melvin?
Yeah.
Just to bring you up to date, we're kind of fast forwarded a little bit. He sent Isidore sent fake telegrams to 4 hotels, and each of you is sitting in the lobby, kind of observing to see if anyone picks up a telegram from Abigail Athenbright.
I got a 15.
Okay. So the bellman says, "Oh, they checked out," and hands it back to him, and then the telegram. What would that be? A messenger boy? I don't know what it would be. He says, "Well, we don't want it. You got to take it." He says, "But they're gone. What am I going to do with it? It's going to sit here in the file forever. Take it back over there. You guys got more space. You got to take it." And they have like a little not an altercation, but a little disagreement about who should remain in possession.
We should be responsible for this piece of paper.
Right. So finally, go ahead.
I was going to say, I imagine it ends with the desk clerk just taking it and throwing it away.
Yes.
I'll take it.
Okay. Well, you know what it says because you just sent it.
Yeah.
I will go round everybody up
Okay.
and tell them they checked out of the hotel.
Oh, goodness. Any chance you know what names they're using now?
Well, the name that we sent the telegram to was there and checked out. So presumably
Okay.
they're using.
The same
I
names.
mean, it sounds like they're all using the same set of 4 names.
It could
That's
be
just
the
creepy.
hotel where the replacements were staying.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm thinking.
Agreed. Damn, how do we find them now then?
Perhaps we find somewhere to rest for the night, and then see if there's a newspaper story about something horrible happening in Chicago tomorrow morning.
Well, I know there's some vacancies.
Or we can stay here, maybe bribe one of the wait staff or other servants to let us into the room that they were in, and maybe we might be able to find a clue in there.
Possibly, though I suppose the easiest thing would just be to sneak in. I mean, the whole protecting my virtue thing doesn't go over quite as well when it's a group of 4 people. People
Right.
just assume the worst about you at that point.
I would be quick to stifle any such assumption. That is,
You're so sweet.
but in any case, I think we've managed to lose track of everybody. But at least I think we dodged a bullet by not staying on that train. It may have been very difficult.
Although, I mean, why don't we attempt to at least search the room? Maybe there's some clue, as you said. Wouldn't the replacements have gotten a telegram as well?
True. Is there, just out of character, would there be any other way to reach San Francisco from here? Are there? I mean, the only real rapid way to get to San Francisco would be by train, right?
Well, if you're daring, there's not exactly commercial air flight at this point. I don't know what kind of air flight there is. Let me check real quick, because there might be.
They had some. I think they did some mail with planes this early on, but that's about it.
Well, it's not like riding the mail coach somewhere at that point. I mean,
Oh, that was like their version of like Super Express Mail was airmail, and that's why you had special ultralight airmail stationery that you would use because
Right,
it
the
was
really
exorbitantly
thin
expensive.
paper, yeah.
that's awesome.
There absolutely was an airmail route from Chicago to San Francisco that made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's the 11th stop for that plane.
But that wouldn't, like, help them get there.
Yeah, and usually it wasn't like a big old plane. They really didn't have very large ones. It's kind of like Pony Express, really, but a slightly more modernized version.
And they certainly wouldn't take the car with them.
No.
Oh, wait, did the 4 of them have a car when they left the hotel? Was
No,
that
I
what
mean,
you're saying?
us. Like if the
Oh,
car
yeah, no.
was to try and beat them to San Francisco via air.
Oh. Sorry. I got stuck on the tracking down the nefarious people
Yeah.
so that we can do something.
No, I'm just trying.
The librarian, a professor, an ex-soldier, and a smuggler.
Entrepreneur. Yeah, it doesn't look like there was much in the way of commercial passenger flight at that point.
So, in order to get back, if the original group still needs to get back because they're central to some ceremony of some sort, odds are that they'd board a train again to get to San Francisco.
If we have to go
Probably.
to San Francisco.
I mean, we understand from Abigail's plan that the next big step is taking place in San Francisco, which is why we were chasing those people over there.
Yes, and there's no reason why that would have changed. The question is, what does it mean that discretion is no longer... I mean, that's probably about killing us. Never
Right.
mind.
I mean,
That part is out of character. Sorry, I would not be so blasé about it. I just am obviously slow on the pickup today.
it is absolutely possible for us to take a car and get to San Francisco first.
Let's do that then.
Because trains do have to slow way down to get over the Rockies.
Yes. Although I was just reading, because I was trying to find out about how they were able to, because there was an electric system they used using the rails to be able to contact the engines.
Mm-hmm.
And the engines had a system on board to tell if the track was intact. But that didn't really get developed until like the mid-20s. And they originally required it for trains that went 80 miles an hour or faster. So at this point, they probably can go about that fast. But when they're going over, there's no way they're going to be going that fast going over the Rockies. And that's not accounting for stops too.
Right.
And I'm assuming,
Or any other murders that people
Right.
might commit.
and that's probably a dozen stops between Chicago and San Francisco at least, I would think.
And we'd probably be a lot more difficult to track down that way.
There is there was an actual intercontinental highway system that went through Chicago and all the way to San Francisco called the Lincoln Highway in the 20s. That goes through central Iowa, Nebraska, southern part of Wyoming, past Salt Lake City, and then down across Nevada, and then down.
Well, let's do that. I'm actually a fan of staying under the radar and trying to beat them over there, because that will cause her no end of frustration that her little plan and all the things that she knows didn't pan out for her at all, and that we're still in play. She'll go nuts.
And, anything that we can do to continually thwart
If
their
she's-
grander plan, we need to be doing.
And not only that, but keeping them off balance and insecure about how they can affect things is greatly to our benefit. If we make them act as a knee-jerk reaction instead of part of their solid plan, that'll expose vulnerabilities that we can take advantage of.
Was it
That makes sense. It's in my eye.
Was it the 30? The Lincoln Highway?
I don't know if it has a number. It didn't actually go all the way in. It was U.S. Route 30.
Okay, all right. So I did find it. All right. I'm just looking.
Oh, there it is.
I'm just looking to see where the stops are.
If you just there is like a whole Wikipedia entry about the route of the Lincoln Highway.
Okay.
I can give to you.
I'll be right back.
I'm looking at an interactive map of it right now.
Nice.
Gosh, I love the internet.
I don't want to. There's something in my eye. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm going to say I go and purchase a road map. And then we can sit down at that same bakery if we want to and just sort of map out our route. Maybe pick up some supplies to take with us so we don't have to stop too often for food. You know, some canned potted meat, some bread, some beans, so on and so forth, and just sort of pull a crazy astronaut chick across country and just
Okay. So are you guys gonna sleep tonight and leave in the morning, or leave right away?
Well, it is 6 a.m. or so, right?
Oh, it is. That's right. Yeah,
I
but
think
by the
should-
time the whole telegraph thing happens, it's probably more like 7:30.
We
I
should
don't want to
probably
kill a
hit the
whole
road.
day. Yeah.
got a boogie.
Okay. All right. So you start driving, and
I do have some basic level of driving also, so I could help.
okay. So just to keep track of time, because you can't have a meaningful campaign without accurate time records.
Accurate time records, right?
Say it was July 27th. So, the morning of July 27th, you're driving. And someone have an estimate about how far you're... Because I'm assuming you're only going to stop to refuel and eat
Right.
and buy a
What kind of car was it again?
Model T.
Model T.
And also, we were talking about picking up some canned goods, bread, and bottles of water and stuff, so we can keep the food stops at a minimum.
Got it. Okay.
And then maybe doing a sleep in shifts thing and sharing the driving responsibilities as much as we can.
Okay. How many of you can drive? 2 of you? 3? All of you?
Well, everybody's got a basic 20%, and
okay.
we're not stunt driving all over the place, so...
Right. Alrighty. And I'm trying to figure out kind of a sort of like a half-assed rate of travel. What was the Model T?
I mean,
stops?
depending on like the baseline Model T speed, you could figure about 45 miles an hour. If Melvin had done no upgrades or anything to...
Okay.
Melvin, did you soup up your Model T?
There's no rules for that, but it would have been as like Melvin owns 4 things: the car, 2 guns, and a mysterious silver flask. So all of his money is in the car.
Okay.
I mean, it is your livelihood, right? So that makes sense.
I mean,
So a
that
non-stop
is-
drive from Chicago
is
to San Francisco
actually-
is about 2,100 miles.
So it's 21.
the origin of NASCAR is
Shining.
moonshiners
Yep.
that were souping up cars to avoid revenuers.
Yeah, they were all some good old boys. They never really meaned no harm.
Wow.
all you ever
So the
saw.
Model T got 21 miles to the gallon.
That's
Mhm.
it. Wow.
Why the hell have we not done significantly better in mileage per gallon?
Well,
in
yeah,
cars
Because there
since
hasn't
then?
been any need to.
It only
The
goes,
auto and oil industries.
and it only went 45 miles an hour. Well, it may have, they probably could soup it up a little, but the slower you go, the more the less fuel you're going to use. Remember, that's why they made the national speed limit 55 for a while. I don't know if you remember that. Are you old enough to remember that?
Yeah, I remember
It was
that.
national, yeah. So we're gonna 500 miles a day. Does that sound accurate? Give or take.
Yeah,
If we're
sure.
driving,
If we're really driving in shifts and we don't have any major mechanical breakdowns, so on and so forth. Yeah, that sounds reasonable.
Okay.
From what I'm reading here.
yeah, it's about 12 and a half hours of driving a day.
Well,
Because it says
we
the
could probably
entire length takes between 20 and 30 days is the estimate that was given by Google.
To drive from
Yeah, but that's from New York all the way to San Francisco. It didn't have
And that's-
Chicago to San
And
Francisco.
also
a
reasonable driving.
person that stops and has a picnic and
Yeah,
stays
Actually
in a
sees
motel.
the sights. And
so
Yeah, that's definitely correct.
so I'm going to assume that you could probably make it into Wyoming in the first day.
I was going to say, between all 4 of us, we could probably get about 5 hours of driving each.
Mm-hmm.
That gives us about 900 miles a day.
Okay, all right. I'll buy that.
So 2.5 days of driving.
Something like
yeah,
that.
that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, Trippy says it's about 32 hours of driving to get from Chicago to San Francisco, but
That's today in miles.
that's today. Yeah,
Right.
that's using 65 miles an hour average.
So okay, well I'll say that you have a stop in probably Salt Lake City. Seems to be kind of like a midpoint, roughly like a 3/4 point maybe.
We travel from state to state, no papers.
I think I will go to Montana.
We're
And
in Salt Lake City. Sorry, I cannot let it go.
okay, so like you're stopping at a gas station in Salt Lake to refuel and all that. Probably you've refueled numerous times on the way, I'm sure. How was it? Fuel capacity of the tank? Probably 10 or 15 or 20 gallons, somewhere in that range, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and I figure we could pick up a couple of fuel containers that we can strap to the side of the car, too.
Okay, got it.
But also, like, we would need to stop every time we wanted to change drivers anyway. So, like, whenever we had a shift, we would change drivers, refuel at
Got
the
it.
same time.
Okay, all right. So you're in Salt Lake, and the newspaper headlines: massive train derailment. The Santa Fe San Francisco Express derailed. It is believed there are no survivors.
Ah,
Freak accident. Blah 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 blah.
Right. So now we
wow.
know what it means that discretion is no longer a part of their plan.
Very glad we didn't get back on the train. Very, very glad.
I think it was a gift from God that we were given that little bit of extra time due to the implantation of that contraband that allowed us to investigate that telegraph. And I once again got my Star David, do a little prayer and thanks. God is definitely looking out for us.
Now, if they didn't know we got off, they probably wouldn't have derailed the train. So they're assuming we're dead.
No.
I mean, fingers crossed.
Then
Best case.
best case scenario is that we have surprises and element for our side. It's one of the few advantages we can possibly have.
True. Did we ever figure out what was in that book?
That's the next thing I was going to bring up. Exactly.
Yes, we did. We
That
did
sounds
figure
like road trip
But,
reading.
so we've got 2.5 days to figure that out.
The book, it turns out, is a poem written in French, and it's an epic poem. So the book itself is probably like 60 pages long, and the poem is called "The Eclipse of $10."
Maybe somebody should just read it out loud to the rest of us while we drive. How could that go wrong?
It sounds like a real bad idea. But I do read French,
Oh, there you
so
go.
I'm gonna read that book
Okay.
and see if there's any information in there. Maybe it could tell us about what they're planning. Maybe it could give us a way to get rid of these dogs. It would be real great if we could get rid of these dogs forever.
And it'd be great if they were like allergic to yogurt or something.
Something.
Well, as you
Lactose intolerant
so
dogs.
you're gonna read the book.
Yes.
Okay.
Woot!
Let's see.
Camilla is yet again
I feel like there's some sanity rolls coming up.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I know how this goes. Camilla's never met a book that she won't dive straight into without thinking about it.
Which is such a great characterization for this type of game.
And that will never be a problem until it is.
It definitely hasn't been a problem before, and it will not be a problem again.
I got a bit of a cat sitch. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Okay. My dogs have been going crazy. When someone walks by with another dog, Baloo starts howling. They broke my front window.
Oh, dang.
It's a crack, but I just noticed it yesterday when I was cleaning the windows. I'm like, God damn it! So now I have to have the window replaced. I got to figure out something because at some point one of them is going to like put their paw through the window. Probably Baloo, because when he sees another dog having a walk, he gets extremely jealous.
He's like, how dare you take someone else out and not also me, person I don't know.
Right, exactly. Well, Baloo is everyone's friend. He loves all creatures unless they're squirrels or cats.
Just frost the bottom half of your windows. So he can't see you.
There you go. That's a good idea. Okay, so So the
I was going to say
go ahead.
they make that like it's almost like sticky film that you could put on the window.
Oh, so it doesn't
That's
shatter?
basically
Or
like
like-
an
It, like,
exterior.
pebbles it. Yeah.
Well, not just for frosting, but like for safety purposes.
Yeah, that's
too.
what I'm worried about, is that one of them's going to like break it and then try to jump through it and eviscerate themselves. Because they are dogs.
Well, in the meantime, like until you replace it, definitely get some of that film because
Yeah.
it should reinforce it enough that
That it won't shatter.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they make it for like plate glass windows for earthquake safety and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'll look it up. So
And also maybe some frosting.
yeah, or it'd be so much easier if I didn't let them in the house when I'm not home.
Just baby gates.
That's what I'm thinking. But it's so nice for them to have the run of the house, because if someone
Right,
were
but
to
you
try
could
to
just
break
make
in,
it in
they
front of
would
the
be
window.
terrified, like, "Holy shit, that's a huge dog!" So, the Eclipse of the Tindalos. It's a story about a woman named the Lady of Tindalos, who, as you read through the poem, seems to be a what's the term? Like a literary euphemism for time.
Okay.
And like she like oversees the passage of time, and it's almost like the what are the fates that weave and unweave the cloth and that determines your life.
Personification
Yeah,
has
it's a
come into the chat.
personification of time. That's the word.
She's Sailor Pluto. Okay, I get it.
And and she has a pack of hounds that sort of guard her, and the story is about various suitors coming to try to win her heart, and the dogs refuse to let them in. And then finally, one of the suitors arrives and tries singing a song to the dogs, which placates the hounds, and then they don't try to threaten him, and he is allowed to come in and woo her, and they live happily ever after. So, but it seems like it's there. The poem is concealing what seems to be this song that placates these hounds.
Well, it is time to figure out what that is.
And it's right there
Must
in
know.
there in French.
Oh, so it's like written in there and like
Oh yeah, the
perfect.
Yeah, the song is in there. Yeah.
Frere Jacques.
Alouette.
Dormez-vous? No thanks.
Frère Jacques, dormez-vous.
So that's what that does.
French children have figured out that song as a safety measure for years and years.
And I'm still trying to figure out what the mysterious item is.
You ask a native French speaker about it, like, oh yeah, we use that to keep away the yogurt dogs. You guys don't have that?
Well, this gives us at least a starting point, something to placate the hounds,
Yeah.
and also possibly a way to manipulate time.
That could prove very useful.
That seems less like a thing we should actually do.
Well, if Abigail is in different moments of time, we need to disrupt as many of her rituals as possible. There are 9 times 9. There are 9 rituals at least going on at 9 different points in time with groups of 9 people. As far as I know, we've only managed to disrupt 1, and that hasn't deterred her.
Not only that, but it could be one of her safety measures is the fact that she is spread across time. If we can somehow merge them, we would be able to deal with her directly.
Hathor's out there. We cannot let her raise him.
Then it makes the haste of this travel even more important.
And while we go, we all get to learn a fun song. It's not like we've got, like, good radio coverage.
It's not like this car has a radio. Yeah.
Okay. So that was probably like the evening of the 28th, I'm guessing, July 28th. So driving through the night, and I'm gonna like estimate you're gonna arrive in San Francisco on July 29th.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm assuming when you're not driving, you're probably studying that song.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
I wasn't
get back
joking. I
into
mean, I
it.
want to teach everyone the song
Okay.
so that we all have our own protection against the dogs.
Got it. All right.
And I will absolutely slip back into, like, yeah, I was a soldier, so I fall asleep instantly and wherever I am.
Wherever you can catch some shit out, you take it.
As long as I'm not driving, I just instantly just
Bless you.
conked out.
Okay. So
Except when it's music practice.
Right. It's time for our sing-along. So on the evening of the 29th, you arrive in San Francisco.
Okay.
And I think you're estimating that probably the train is going to arrive in the morning.
The derailed train?
Yeah, never mind.
Well, the original four would
would
need
have.
to take whatever the next train is in, which we could have looked up before we left.
Yeah, but would the next train be able to make it, given that there was a massive train derailing?
When you arrive in San Francisco, you find out that there is that rail line is now cut off because the derailment was caused by some sort of severe damage to the train tracks themselves.
Okay.
And you can probably find articles that of the eyewitnesses who are out there after the fact, where the rails were literally bent up and like twisted, like something came out of the ground. And just like
Well, that's not terrifying at all.
broke apart the rail line.
So how are the other four getting here then?
We check for, like, alternate routes, like up and to, like, Portland, like Chicago to Portland, or whatever that then they could
Yeah, there are other
take down here.
Yeah, there are other train routes they could have taken.
Well, they probably rerouted most of the traffic through those other routes.
Right.
So just do a little research and find which one would have been the fastest way for them to get through there while avoiding that.
That might be, yeah, like the northern route, or I don't know. Roll some dice, because there's a train line that goes south, like Route 66 style, to LA,
Right.
or there's one that goes up north along the Canadian border that splits in Spokane to go to Portland or Seattle. And then from there, you can go south and get to San Francisco. Or north, either way.
Oh, I'm going to say that they're probably rerouting most of the trains the northern way.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's in the middle of July, so weather is not a concern going north.
Also, we know the hotel that Abigail wanted them to meet at, correct? Wasn't that in the original telegram?
The Grand Hotel? The name of it? Oh, no, the Palace Hotel.
We should occupy rooms near that place.
That's exactly
but
what I
not
was thinking.
in it.
Oh, there's also a news story that President Warren Harding, who by the way is staying in the Palace Hotel because he's
Is this where the birthday party is happening now?
in San Francisco, but he's fallen ill.
That bodes ill for everyone.
His doctor made a statement saying that he's suffering from dietary upset.
Yeah, but the villain's MO has used disease or pestilence in general.
Maybe we should get rooms in that hotel and see if we can make our way into the room directly above or below the president's room.
I think the Secret Service might have something to say about that.
I-
Now that we have the means to evade the dogs, it might be worth attempting to see what's happening to him in the Dreamland instead.
Good point.
I just wondered if perhaps they've positioned the V of
Yeah, the
Stones.
stones.
Yeah, actually searching out for the V of Stones would probably be a great idea. But I don't know how we're going to be able to go through an entire hotel looking for that. I mean, they've placed those things under the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Especially a hotel that the president is staying in.
Yes, they would be underneath the president's bed, most likely, which seems beyond our ken in getting in. If only doors were here.
So you
Yeah,
can you can
Go ahead.
get rooms at the when you get to the Palace Hotel, it's very obviously that this is the sort of hotel that's going to have a presidential suite or something of that sort. So it's safe to assume the president was in the top floor in one of the two huge suites that make up that floor.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we'll say there is a presidential suite, and that's probably where he's staying.
Are there other hotels nearby?
Oh, sure, yeah.
I mean, if there's another hotel that's across or adjacent or really close, that would be a great choice if that was possible.
Yeah. Yeah, you can stay in that hotel. You can stay across the street or next door. There's hotels on either side of it, I'll say.
Okay. Next door, then.
Okay.
Once we get a room, I am going to shave my beard and head completely clean shaven.
Okay.
I'm basically trying to alter my appearance as much as I possibly can
Okay.
without using cosmetics, just sort of like swapping it out to seem a little bit less obvious. And if there's anywhere around where I can buy a very simple set of clothes, just a pair of trousers, shirt, suspenders, maybe a light jacket and a hat that are different to what I normally wear. So no tweed, just like sort of simple workman's clothes.
Okay.
I try to alter the way I look as much as I can.
Okay. Yeah, shaving your hair and beard does wonders to change your appearance. Just that in and of itself. Is anyone else doing anything to conceal their appearance?
Put on like a different hat.
Yeah, I don't really have I don't have a signature look per se.
Well, I do. That's the thing, is that I stick out like a sore thumb just about everywhere I go. So I'm trying to alleviate that as much as I can.
Okay.
I think
Let you.
I think maybe Dimitri tries to start growing a beard, but it's mostly unsuccessful.
Oh, you
You
probably
just take Isidore's hair and like glue it on.
Glue it up.
Oh,
Make it
face smirking.
Wow.
that is a word that doesn't get used enough.
Indeed. Gotta go with the mercs.
Alrighty then.
You put the merkin
Yeah.
in mercantile.
But I'm assuming that the late hour that we probably got in, that's probably the maximum that I'd be able to do.
Right. Okay. So you get rooms at the hotel next door, and are you want to request like a specific floor or anything like that, or which side of the hotel, or
Well, look at the top floor nearest the palace.
okay.
Also want a room with a phonograph in it.
Okay. You've got that. So you got 2 rooms adjoining.
Perfect.
Both look out at the Palace Hotel across the alley.
But basically, there's just the scene of me having these new clothes on, having pulled out of the bathroom, just clean shaven, and you see him sort of sit down on one of the chairs in the living area and put a big bag of ice on his knee and just sort of like rub his temples and sort of like attempt to sort of relax. You can tell that he's in a lot of discomfort. I'm figuring he probably took a lot of shifts driving, and that can be
Hell
Taxing.
on bad knees.
Oh, absolutely.
It's so bad.
so he's just basically taking the night to sort of try to recuperate physically.
You've been sitting down for almost 3 days.
Yeah,
Yeah, and any driving shift, it's there's no power steering, there's no ABS, so
yeah.
everything is difficult.
It's just that he's an injured old man. I don't want to lose track of the fact that he's not a young buck, and he did severely injure his leg. So he's like,
Right. Okay. Anything else you guys want to do that evening?
I think I'd probably offer to go find a drugstore and see if I could get some aspirin powder or something.
Oh, okay.
Seeing how uncomfortable he is, just I didn't think about that until he's like, ugh.
Okay.
So I'd make a venture out for that.
Yeah, there's a drugstore down the street.
Or I mean,
Oh.
like,
if you're going to go to the drugstore, get some smelling salts too,
okay,
just in case we need to wake somebody real bad.
well, that's a good idea. I mean, it's still the 20s, so I could go to the drugstore and be like,
Can I have some heroin, please?
give me that amphetamines.
We're all on crystal meth, fighting evil.
Okay. All right. So he comes back and brings you some probably something akin to Alka-Seltzer and maybe some liniment.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. So I thank Dimitri a great deal and administer the analgesics.
Okay.
So, do we still have that rifle that we stole?
We
took it with us.
I think you guys did pack it. Yeah.
Does it have a scope?
Oh, absolutely.
I removed the scope and I kind of like use it to like just look out the window and keep an eye on the hotel next door.
This is that evening?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just taking watch, just keeping an eye out. Sort of like icing and nursing my knee while I'm sitting down, just looking out the window. Sort of like a rear window, sort of.
Make a spot hidden roll.
You got it. Roll. What is my spoot? My spot hidden is a 52, and I got a 66, so no.
Okay.
Do I get any bonus from the scope?
Sure. Yeah, roll a bonus die.
That's a 48.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 46.
You've never seen her in person, but you think you may have seen Florence Harding walk by a window.
Oh. I tell the group, I'm fairly certain that I saw Florence Harding walking past that window. So we can say fairly certainly that that's the room that the president's in.
And as you're observing, you see that there's quite a bit of traffic in and out. You see several people. You see some people dressed very well. You see what looks like a doctor comes in and out several times that night.
Oh, and also the moment I just see a woman and nobody else through the scope and I'm observing her, I blush.
You just shaved your head, so it's like your whole head.
Yeah, because this is definitely something that I'm not supposed to be doing. And I feel horrible
Way to make
about it.
Way to make it creepy, Isidore.
He feels creepy, but he's doing something that's important. But to his credit, at least he understands that it's creepy.
Like, I really don't want to be doing this,
This is very dishonorable.
but all right.
But I'm doing it for the right reasons, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Camilla, please don't judge me.
Camilla would never judge you. Especially not after you murdered that dude.
Well, if we can get past that, we can get past just about anything, right?
But yeah. So y'all are keeping an eye on the room all night?
Yeah,
Am I
well,
taking my shifts in this, or am I going into the Dreamlands?
I'm also going, do we want to do a Dreamland thing? It should be 2 of us dreaming and 2 of us observing, I think.
Agreed.
I have no desire to visit the crazy land of dreams and horribleness,
I will volunteer myself.
but I will
for that.
stand ready with stinking salts.
Okay.
Okay.
What are smelling salts made out of? Are they ammonia? Is it like
Yeah.
ammonia salt? Okay.
Well, let me tell you, I haven't been on the wrong end of one of those, just out of curiosity once.
Oh, I did.
And-
We used to have those ammonia ampules that you're supposed to use. They used to put them in first aid kits. Like
Yeah, the
little
ones just
glass
snap.
vial. Oof. Ooh.
Oh my god. No, a friend of mine dared me, and I did it, and
And it burns
Oh,
your
boy.
sinuses so bad.
so bad.
Okay.
It's really not the smell that wakes you up so much as it is the burning.
Yeah,
It's the pain. Absolutely.
it's an immediate physical reaction. It's crazy. But yeah, so I go and I lie myself down, and I get ready for sleep.
Okay.
I am going to set up a ward
Okay.
and then try to enter the Dreamlands.
I don't remember. Did I have you guys make a will roll? I don't remember what I did last
I think it was a power roll.
Power roll, which is, I think.
It's
Okay.
a stat. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and make that.
I got a 61 under 80.
I really need to stop using these dice, but they're just so perfect. I got a 74 under my 75.
Wow. Okay. All right.
But like, they're my creepster dice. I use them for creepy things.
Okay. So you guys, you drift off into sleep, and you wake up in your room. And I'm assuming that that Melvin and Dimitri are watching over you guys, or how is this?
Yeah.
I'll probably pull out the deck of playing cards I bought at the drugstore.
Okay.
We can just play cards and watch out for, I don't know. Is there a set, before this starts, was there a set amount of time that you wanted us to give you? Anything like that? Or is it just if I start thrashing around, try and wake me up?
Yeah, I think it's more of like a if we seem to be in distress. Or obviously if like something comes to attack us in the waking world.
Okay.
All right. I am sort of humming the song underneath my breath.
Alrighty. So
and-
when you guys wake up, Dimitri and Melvin are asleep in their chairs.
Okay. I'm looking for Camilla.
And I come through the adjoining door
Okay.
into the suite. And, well, let's see what we can find out, I suppose.
Let's. I think this is going to be our only means of getting past Secret Service anyway.
Agreed.
So basically, I put out my arm. Shall we?
Let's be off. and I take your arm, faking a great deal of bravado. Because it was much easier to pretend like this was a good idea when I was insane.
Right. I pat your hand lightly and we move off. So just head over to the other hotel. Go to the top floor.
Okay. You get to the other hotel, and the only two other people you've seen so far have been Dimitri and Melvin.
Okay.
Your hotel, making your way downstairs, seems to be completely abandoned. You get out onto the street, and the street is abandoned. And you walk next door to the hotel, and it's nighttime, and there is apparently no electricity now, or gas lamps or anything of the sort. So it's dark.
There's no super eerie full moon.
No, there is no super eerie full moon.
Okay. So make our way over there. I'm basically staying hyper alert, just trying to look around as best I can, make sure nothing's sneaking up on us.
Okay. So you open the door to the hotel, and it opens up into like a sandy shoreline of a giant lake.
Is this a lake we recognize?
Yes. And you can see there are 9 black pillars sort of spaced out in a V. And they extend up, and like when you look up, you can see that they're the ceiling of the hotel lobby, and the pillars seem to go through it.
Okay.
But like when you look back down towards what would be the actual lobby, all you see is the sandy shoreline that you're on, and this lake, which is very still. And then there's a there's a layer of mist sort of very slowly kind of creeping across the lake from the opposite shore. You can see the opposite shore, and you can see that there's like fog building on the other side, and it's very slowly sort of heading toward you.
If I look up at the ceiling, so we can see the ceiling of the entranceway.
But only when you look at it. When you're not looking directly at it, it looks like a dark sky with stars.
But if I keep looking up at the ceiling, and I go towards where the stairs would be,
Basically using the ceiling as our guide to try to navigate through.
Right.
Through the hotel.
You walk that way, but you definitely feel like you're walking in water. And you seem to be like you get up right up to what you can kind of feel as the edge of the lake, and it, like if you take a step, you feel like you're stepping in water.
Okay. Is there a fire escape on the outside of the hotel?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Let's try that.
I don't want to do this again. I've done it before. It didn't go well.
It's like every time you try to teleport into dreaming, I swear it's always something.
Cave full of faces.
I'm
End
not
up
falling
in
for it again.
Carcosa.
I don't know. It's led to some of the most poignant, fantastic Cthulhu moments in this game so far. But are they nice? No.
Okay. So yeah, are you just going to note where where the fire exit is?
Yeah.
Okay, alrighty. So you start walking, and you're definitely getting deeper in water.
No.
No, we're going to go outside.
We're gonna go outside.
And take the fire escape up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unlike the last time I was in with this lake, and I went into the lake, and then I went into the city, and it didn't go so well.
So you're going to go back out of the hotel around to the alley? Okay. Okay, I wasn't sure what you're doing. All right. So you go out and you get to the fire escape is there, and you can finagle your way up the fire escape.
Okay. And make our way to the top floor that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You get up to the top floor, and it is, in fact, the window through which you saw Florence Harding earlier. And the window is, like, cracked open like that much.
Okay. I take my cane
Mm-hmm.
and I use it as a lever to open the window a little bit more.
Okay.
What do I see when I peer in?
It looks like a bed chamber. It looks like a bed. It looks like a royal bed chamber. There is one of those big 4-post beds with the big sort of canopy thing on top of it. Everything looks older than what you would expect to see, like from another age. Instead of there being like modern, like ceramic, a pitcher with glasses. It's like clay cups with a clay fired, like rough fired pitcher. The bed does not look like it's a modern bed. It looks like it's probably made out of. It's probably a feather bed or something even older than that. But the room looks. And there's lamps and candlelight. There's no electricity. And you can see, like on the lamps themselves, you can see a flame, but but it's extremely dim. The inside of the chamber is lit, but it's barely lit. And you can see a figure laying in bed, and it appears to be an old man. And he has a long beard, and he has long white hair, and he's wearing a crown. And he seems to be wheezing. And then you can see that there's a woman standing sort of a distance away, and has her hands clasped together, and she's looking at him as if she were worried. And there is a young woman standing next to her.
Are either of these two people Abigail?
No, not that you recognize. No.
Doesn't it have a daughter?
Yes.
Yeah, he has a wife and a daughter, just like the king in yellow.
Do the women look like they see us?
No. This kind of looks like. Do you remember those portals? When you could.
Yeah.
It kind of looks like that. It's like they're not exactly here. They're here in a. Remember the paper with the pencil?
Yes, we will never forget the paper with the pencil.
Yeah, they're out. They're out here somewhere, but you can just kind of make them out. They're out here on the edge of the pen, and you're stuck on the paper. So they're like over here, just slightly.
Okay. So if we start singing the song, the like "Hounds, Hounds, Go Away" song.
Mm-hmm.
Come again another.
Well, he's been humming it. He said to himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But if we both actually sing it together.
Well, if you start singing it, I'll follow along.
And because we want to, I guess, like, so my point is, like, if we either can detach this narrative from this location in the Dreamlands, you know what I mean? Like, it's if this is kind of encroaching on top of the president's suite, and that narrative is encroaching upon our world, if we either detach it or can do something to help him in the dreaming, like whatever the affliction the king is suffering right now, then that would translate itself to President Harding. But ideally just detaching him from that narrative entirely. Like, so not just hounds go away. Bother Abigail instead of us today. But like...
Now you do possess a book that that can summon a doorway. Because what you are seeing right now, and you probably, and it's been a long time since the portal thing happened.
Yeah.
But you were not able to exert any control over what you were witnessing. Because you're seeing something, but you're not present.
Mm-hmm.
We're basically watching a film of what's going on. We can't really affect anything.
So we would need to create the doorway.
Here, and you're here.
So we would need to create the doorway to affect what's going on.
Right.
We could not use the window as a doorway. Like, if I climb through this window, am I in with the king, or am I in the president's room in the dreaming?
It appears that you are in the king's bedchamber. That's what it looks like, but it's sort of superimposed on another reality that is almost too dim to actually be able to perceive at this point.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, can I reach under the bed and see if there's any of those stones under there?
You look under the bed and you don't see them. You don't.
And I definitely don't see any smiling faces. Good.
No smiling faces underneath the bed.
Isidore, I have a very, very bad idea.
Well, I'd rather follow your bad idea than most people's good ones. So what do you got?
We need to create a doorway to affect what's happening.
Fair enough. How do we do that?
And I kind of described to him what it says in the book, like how the ritual works.
Well, it's worth a try. Otherwise, we'd be wasting the entire attempt.
I just feel we have to do anything that we can to derail this.
Let's do it.
You would need to make your mythos roll.
No, not my mythos roll.
And add a bonus die because you're doing it from the dreamland.
No, it's not that bad. I mean, it's bad, but it's not that bad.
Well, whoever is casting to create the doorway.
What is your mythos right now?
My mythos is at 16.
Oh, you know what? Stop. Hold on. You read a book that we forgot to do that stuff. I just remembered that because it gives you a mythos bonus. So, reading it would give you a +6.
All right.
2d sanity loss.
Like 2d10 sanity?
No, I'm sorry, 2d6. 2d6.
I was like, Holy shit.
That's not that bad.
Well, it could be terrible.
Oh no, it could be very terrible. 2d6 is a pretty big hit.
It is. Or it could be. In this case, I lucked out. And rolled a 4.
That's not bad at all.
I got a 19, which would have failed until you added those extra points. So, and would have failed miserably with a 99 if you didn't give me that bonus d10.
Nice.
All right. Dude, I can't believe I made that.
Okay. So, a doorway just appears in the wall.
I walked through it first.
Okay.
I think we should walk through it together.
Very well. You're correct. You've done far more to protect me than I have to protect you anyway.
That's
Shall we?
not even true. Let's do this together.
Okay. You walk through.
Take a deep breath. Walk through.
Okay. And you enter.
Do that Indiana Jones first step on the on that invisible bridge. Sort of like,
Oh,
You step in, and
Penitent man nails.
there is a stairway leading down, made out of stone.
okay. Head on
Do I
down.
recognize this stairwell?
Yeah.
I know I don't.
It's the one that leads down from the doctor's place, though.
Yeah, I never went down those stairs. I don't think.
That's cool. It's cool. Everything's fine here.
Okay. So you make your way down the stairway, and there's a sort of like a landing, and there's an opening, and you can kind of see that there is a shoreline. You can see that very familiar shoreline through the opening.
Okay. But we need to get to the king's bedchamber.
I think that what the universe is telling us is that there's no shortcut to be found here.
Well, then we take the long way.
So it goes.
Well, you can see the 9 pillars, and you can see figures on top of them, as you saw before. Probably don't remember because it was like a year ago.
No, trust.
Okay.
Not forgetting the 9 people who cut their own throats and then bled all over and raised Caracosa
Right.
anytime soon.
Well, you can see them standing there, and they begin cutting their throats again, and the blood sort of starts encompassing the pillars, and the pillars start dropping, and as they drop, they sort of turn into voids in space-time, like openings, and there's 9 of them.
Now we have to choose what's between door number 1, or there's no way of looking through these portals.
They're very distorted. You can sort of see, like, in some of them you can see like a little bit of motion, but they're extremely distorted. You can't really tell what's there. Some are darker than others. Some seem to be busier than others, but you can't really see what's behind each one. Meanwhile, back at the hotel, it's gotten darker. This is for Dimitri and Melvin. Mm-hmm. It's gotten darker, and you can. Dimitri, have you seen one of these hounds yet?
Didn't you see
Yes,
one with me with
I saw
Einstein?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I saw the one that was eating Einstein.
Ah, okay, all right. So the hair on the back of your neck is starting to stand up, and you're kind of having that same sensation you had when you saw that thing feeding on Einstein's innards.
Oh.
And you can kind of hear not like almost like a scratching noise. This seems to be coming from the dark corners of of the hotel room.
Of our hotel room?
Yes.
I think I'm gonna try and sing the song
Okay.
that we practiced in the car.
Okay.
As soon as he starts, Melvin will join in.
Okay. And both of you make, let's say, education rolls.
Okay.
Well,
See how
did
to
you
sound
learn
effect.
this song?
See how well you got it. Do either of you speak French?
Nope.
Okay.
I learned
So
it
definitely make-
phonetically. Because I learned it phonetically.
Right.
Oh, I wrecked it. Yeah, I got an 18.
Oh, okay.
I got a 2.
Wow.
Oh!
So you start singing, and then you realize, oh, I'm feeling better. I'm
It's like
feeling
Mythos, Simon and Garfunkel busting it out. There's like harmony going on and shit.
Hello, that is my
It was
Or
a
have a
long
barbershop
road trip.
quartet. It's like,
More time appropriate, yeah.
sweet Adeline. All right.
Read out a line. Okay.
So back at the shoreline. So you have basically there's like 9 portals.
Any ideas?
honestly, I have no idea. Unless there's any distinguishing features from the people who were on top of the pillars.
But they were all like dark robed figures. You couldn't really, and they're
Okay.
gone. I mean, they sort of after they cut their throats, they sort of vanished. They'd kind of Jedi'd out, just robes.
I wonder if there's anything like I could extend my senses, kind of try to feel out what might be there.
You can totally try that. I would think that would be a mythos roll.
Ugh. I now have a full-on 21 with that mythos.
Ew.
I should have suggested a luck roll. You just blindly go in.
I'll give you a because you've seen where you're going or where you want to go. You can have a bonus die.
Thank you. Oh, thank you for the extra points, Stu.
You make
Also
it?
the bonus die. Yes, I made it on the nose.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay. So it coincidentally it is the portal at the point of the V of the 9 portals.
That's what I was going to guess, too.
Well,
Do you believe that's the way to go?
I do.
Then let's do it.
Together.
Together. When we go through the portal together.
Okay. As soon as you step through, now you're hearing the wheezing, and it's much louder, and there's moaning involved with it. It's like
I immediately look under the bed to see if I can find stones.
there are no stones there. And the 2 women sort of standing there, at this point you probably didn't someone had a premonition or something? Didn't someone have something like that? I don't remember.
Well, we had that really weird dream about the president originally.
Okay. All right. Well, you see 2 women, a younger one and one who's dressed as a monarch, a queen. Bless you. And they both seem to be weeping and watching what's happening.
I am going to try to bustle them out of the room.
Can we interact with them at all?
Yeah, you walk up to them and they notice you, they see you, and you can't understand what they're saying. They're speaking in a language you do not even recognize.
Yeah, that is fine. I'm still going to try to shoot them out the
Okay,
room.
all right, you can do that.
And like the universal of like, we'll take care of it, but you need to go, let us do our thing. Like, all those universal gestures of like professional medical people give you all the time.
Okay. All right, you can totally do that.
So there are no stones. Kind of looks like this dude is really old. Is there anything you can do to help him, Isidore?
I'm basically going to... Let's see, do I have any kind of medicine? Not really. I got first aid, but I don't think that's really going to help.
I mean, you never know.
I'm going to look at him and I have a fairly high occult.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make some kind of roll to see if there are any kind of energies going into this guy and if I can disrupt them or something like that?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead and make your occult roll.
I got a 41 under my 91 occult. Yes, you heard it right. 91.
Wow.
Damn.
His mind is broken. As far as you can tell, he has perceived something that has shattered his psyche and has left him without the will to live.
I'm going to try something weird. I'm going to try to project my dream into his mind.
Nice.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have the dreaming skill yet?
I do.
Okay. I would say.
Can I lend my dreaming power to you? We're doing all this together.
Oh, you can. Yeah, you can totally help, and I would say whichever one of your rolls will get a bonus die. Cool. And what are you're trying to put your perspective on what's going on into his mind, or are you going to try to?
Basically, what I'm doing in my mind is I am cramming all of my faith in God.
Okay.
All of my pure 100% knowledge that God is good, God loves us, and does not intend this for us, and try to transfer that pillar of strength that I've held inside me to him.
Okay.
So basically, what I'm using is my rabbinical knowledge of counseling and helping people, and I'm trying to channel that directly into someone's mind from my mind.
Okay.
We're trying to fit years of therapy into one dream.
Yeah. Tell me about your mother.
Tell me about your mother. Sometimes a cigar is just a cigar.
Sometimes it ain't. I can make this roll, but I'm going to have to spend 12 points of my luck. But I think this is kind of pivotal. Okay, I spend the 12 luck points. Screw it.
Oh my gosh!
That is a lot of luck.
It is.
But yeah, this is kind of important.
What is your luck at after that expenditure?
My luck is now at 36.
Oh, you started out with 20. Okay.
You have so much luck.
Yeah, well, I started with like a 60-something. I had a pretty good luck to begin with.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Like, I barely spend any of my luck. I'm at 29.
No, I started at a 59. Sorry, 59.
Alrighty. So you do that, and you can see his eyes kind of blink with like some semblance of realization, and the wheezing sort of stops. And then he looks at you sort of confused, and he says something, and you have no idea what it is, but he seems to be offended.
Anti-Semite. I basically counter his offense with more unconditional love.
Okay. All right.
And then I start throwing patriotism in it and what this country did for me and how great it is and how it's important to preserve it and how he's solely responsible for it. And is he the kind of man that wants to give up on that responsibility?
Okay.
Is that the epitaph you want?
Oh,
You're not
good.
fighting for yourself.
I
You're
like
fighting
that.
for every single American.
Yeah, but it's Warren Harding.
Come on, dude. He's a president.
I read his,
gotta have it.
I reread his biography. That guy was a piece of shit.
You cynical bastard.
Okay. Well, he seems to become less offended, seemingly. You still can't understand what he says, but he looks like he's starting to trying to get out of bed. His color seems to be coming back.
I'll help him up.
Okay. He still has the long gray beard and the long gray hair, and he doesn't look anything like Warren Harding.
That's okay.
But you're
Just some dude.
you're able to you help him up out of bed.
The guy who drank too much at a costume party.
Right. and he sort of turns and looks at Isidore, and he sort of very, very begrudgingly sort of nods to him. And then he heads towards the door where his wife and daughter are. Casilda and Camilla.
Okay.
Well,
I
that was beautiful, Isidore.
I say nothing, and I kind of look up at her, and he's crying a little bit, and he goes, he may not have been the son of God, but his message was true. Love is the only answer. He gets up. He goes, shall we?
Yes.
You're supposed to be dead.
Am I now?
There's a woman's voice coming from behind you.
Oh, well, you know,
It's so tough without
don't
your train,
believe
aren't you?
everything you read in the newspaper.
You have become a real problem to me.
And you haven't become a problem to us? Even if you just look at us as beasts, we still mean to preserve our lives and the lives of our loved ones. It's our instinct.
When a hunter hunts a doe, the doe will attempt to flee.
Unless the stag gets it first. Do not look down on me. I do not look down on you. Perhaps if you didn't, I would be dead. And I wake up. Roll. Made it. No problem.
Okay.
One for the wake up. Also made it no problem.
Okay. All right.
Man,
you
if I
both-
always rolled like this, that's a 15 under 75.
Okay, you both wake up.
I lean to the side of the bed and I vomit. That was all the courage he had. He spent it. Like he spent his luck.
Camilla's gonna grab at the silver dagger
Okay.
that she still has from their jaunt into the British Isles.
Okay. Alrighty.
So Isidore wakes up suddenly and then just vomits off the side of the bed, guys. So play
Oh,
Okay. So you you both wake up, and it's probably
oh,
a little past midnight, probably around 3-4 a.m. at this point.
were you
I basically-
successful?
We thwarted whatever was happening to the king.
We think we managed to fix whatever was going on with Harding, but Abigail is there. Abigail was there. And she knows that we're alive now.
I don't think she's going to underestimate us anymore.
If we don't deal with Abigail, I don't think any of the rest of this will matter.
It's only
There
a
were
matter of
8
time.
other portals. And it took a lot to get through this one.
You can tell that there are huge bags underneath Isidore's eyes, and he looks very pale. He looks like he's been up all night doing something when it's only been like a little while, but he looks drained.
I'll go get some water, like a glass of water
Mm-hmm.
for Isidore.
Okay.
I'm going to read from my Torah a little bit just to sort of settle myself.
Okay. One of you spots a little bit of motion coming from across the alley from the other hotel.
Mm-hmm.
Someone want to look?
I'll peer out there.
Yeah.
Okay. You see kind of a oldish man with bushy eyebrows walking in pajamas. And he seems to be helped
Okay.
by a woman who seems to be about his age.
Okay. I'm going to grab my cane and I'm going to go downstairs.
Okay. I think this is probably a good place to stop.
This was a good one,
Can we stop?
man.
Now this is a triumphant return.
Damn it, Pooja, you knock it out of the park every freaking time, dude. It's
Of
just-
me? This was all you, Isidore, and the power of all your faith, love, and patriotism.
That's exactly right. Well, you know, you got to focus positivity when things are negative. This was fun.
Excellent.
We
And
haven't
none
done
of
this.
this would have been possible had Melvin and Dimitri not been awesome and sneaky and or not particularly sneaky, but
No, I mean, I felt the tension of finding crucial things that we needed to know, like right in the nick of time, right as we were about to make a bad choice, which is so dramatic and wonderful. It was great. I was at
I've
the edge of
never
my
been
seat.
so happy. I've never been so happy to not be in the spotlight group as when you guys were in there.
Yeah.
that
was
is
like, we might
literally the
survive.
best. That is the
What would I
best
do?
my dreaming has ever gone.
Yeah, that's what I kept every time it was like, oh yeah, we'll just use the power of the dreaming. I'm like, oh.
This isn't
I
going
mean-
to end well.
I was
but
like, and then I can't believe we both knocked it out of the park for dealing with the summoning of the hound.
Right?
Oh yeah,
That was the part I was like, oh, that's where this is going to go all bad.
As soon as
That
that
was
chief came up, I'm like,
glorious.
there needs to be no more rolls tonight because they will not be anywhere near as good as that.
no, it's one of those things where the crucial rolls I made were because I was given a bonus die because of some preparation we had.
Yeah.
Because really, it was gloomy if I didn't have that bonus die for 2 really crucial rolls. So that was awesome. And I think
It's
that was
really
an
nice to
appropriate
see
expensive luck. That
Yeah,
was,
it's really nice to see risks paying off as
Yeah.
well as they are.
and Isidore is now convinced that the Isidore Camilla combo is indefeatable.
Oh, and I had a massive crisis of faith planned if you had failed that roll.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have had it any other way. Absolutely, it's like God failed me. Holy shit!
Alrighty. Okay,
Very
thank you
good.
for tuning in for session 20, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Knock on wood
2
for
weeks.
session 21.
Weeks.
Do this.
All right.
I think that we've managed to finally eliminate the things that were.
We have conquered the curse.
Yes,
I hope so.
it appears so. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye. See
Bye,
ya.
everybody. See you on the internet.
The clouds they break, the twin suns sink behind the lake. the shadows lengthen in Carcosa. Strange as the night for black